It feels like deja vu all over again. Didn't somebody say that once before? So it did, just the way that it was played, and they have a physical team, and that made an impact on the game. Their physicality was hard for us to overcome. I thought in the first half there were some good things in the first half, and didn't shoot the ball well necessarily, and went in down 12 and felt okay, honestly, based on how we played, that was the gap, and then just was looking forward to trying to come out in the second half and cut into that, and it went the other direction. But they have a good team. They're an experienced team. They run their stuff. They know what their stuff is. They got a lot of guys that have been here for multiple years. They have older guys. They're physical, and some of those things weighed heavily in the outcome of the game. In conjunction with the fact that we've got some guys, our bench is a little shorter right now, and we had a lot of guys play a lot of minutes in an overtime game a couple games ago. Not to excuse anything from those guys, but those are just facts. And so we'll turn the page and get back and practice tomorrow and get ready for Tuesday.
Questions?
Lamont, did you notice any hangover just in practice or in this game from the Alabama game?
Yeah,
Wednesday?
not really. Our practices were pretty light, to be honest with you, just again because of the minutes. I just tried to be as smart as I could in our practices leading up to this game. But there's a lot of minutes by a lot of guys in a game that was also pretty emotionally draining for a young group. And so, but I thought we came out okay. I thought we came out okay. But as we moved on in the game and minutes started to get up, I think the cumulative effect showed itself.
And after halftime, only 19 points. Was that just Tennessee's defense doing what Tennessee's defense does? Shot selection, what did you see offensively from your guys?
Some of it. I thought the shot selection in the first half wasn't too bad. I'll watch it again and make sure of that. But I didn't think it was too bad. I thought in the second half, the lead started to balloon and we got antsy. We started taking some shots that normally don't go in at quite a high percentage. But I think it was a lot of it was them and their defense. But also we had some looks that we didn't make. We had some stuff. Even on the very first possession of the game, we get 3 offensive rebounds and just can't make it happen on that particular possession. And that seemed like a microcosm of what was to come offensively for us today.
Lamont, hey, Tennessee's the first team to kind of take it to you twice this year. What mismatches do they present for you guys?
Yeah, I think the physicality is a big part of it. I think they are extremely physical. I think they're on one end of the spectrum physically, and in terms of how physical they play, and we're probably more towards the finesse side of things at this current point with our roster. And so in a game where there aren't many fouls called, and I thought the refs were extremely consistent. They consistently didn't call a lot of stuff. That's not a criticism. That was just my observation I made from sitting in the chair I was in. And that doesn't bode well for us. In this particular matchup, that does not bode well for us. We need hand checks to be called both ways. We need pushes in the back on offensive rebounds. We need that to be called both ways. We need those things to be called. And again, that's not critical. I just think the way that we play and the way that they play, they're good at that. They're physical. They do that. And that makes it a tough matchup for us to do that over 40 minutes unless you can combat that with a consistently high level of shot making throughout the 40 minutes. And, as we all know, that's hard to do in the game of college basketball.
Coach, G.G. Jackson with only 5 points across the 2 contests with Tennessee. What has Tennessee's defense been doing to shut him down that other teams haven't?
I think just us as a group had a hard time scoring. What did we finish with? 45. Okay, 45, yeah. So we finished with 45. We had 19 in the first half, right? So I think it was widespread throughout the team. I think we, as a collective group, had a hard time scoring, and part of it was because they were physical.
Josiah played in both games against you all this season, but just from your perspective, what does him being back in the lineup for Tennessee mean?
Man,
how big of a difference?
I think he makes everything when he plays us also. Sometimes a guy has a matchup or a feel like that, but maybe it's because we're from the state of South Carolina. I don't know what it is, but he made a lot of stuff. But he's a good player, and he's one of those players that is very skilled and makes shots, but he's also strong and physical. He can play a lot of different ways. You can play him in a variety of ways and a variety of different types of games. He can adjust based if the game is called a little tighter or if they let it be more physical like it was tonight. So I think I'm not there every day at practice. I've only played them twice with him in there, and they're really good when he's in there. So he's a good player, talented player.
Final week of the regular season coming up. What do you want to see from this group that's really kind of never been through a season like this before? And what are some things that you'd like to see progress-wise over these final 2 regular season games?
I'd like to see us continue our trajectory. It's been a good trajectory. We've been consistently moving forward and making progress. Honestly, I'm remembering where we were in November, and you may not have been in every practice but I'd say significant progress. And so I'm happy. I'm happy with the fact that they've done that, right? Like, if you win the Alabama game there, then I think it's 3 out of 4, including 2 road games and a game against the number 2 team in the country. And so I think the guys should rejoice and feel good about how they're playing. Today was not a good example of that, obviously. But again, the matchup just wasn't. It's not a great matchup for this particular group of personnel. But I just want us to continue to move forward. Have another good practice tomorrow. I can't say enough. I told the group this in the locker room. I can't say enough about the way we've responded at practice, even in spite of the fact that we had a tough loss. And that tough loss has shown itself in a lot of ways. It's shown itself in road overtime losses, in home overtime losses against the number 2 team in the country, in 47-point losses, in whatever it was today, right? There's some tough losses in this group, and our days at practice the next day, I've been really proud and happy and pleasantly surprised with how the guys have responded, and hopefully tomorrow will be no different.